Good evening, meanderers. Hope all is well. Moss and I join you from a quiet, quaint lane in not so sunny Hampshire on this Monday evening. And yeah, we're just trotting up this lane. We're just getting a feel for the land, as it were. We are away on holiday. Right, stay in, Moss. Play. Car coming. Calm. A bit further, and then we've got like a nicer rural route. So down to our right, apparently there's a copse, like a wooded area. We're going to keep pressing on. We're going to hang a left and a left again, and that's going to basically take us back to our accommodation. A little bit later in the year, it's October, but we are camping, Moss and I. Admittedly, in the car, got the Volvo out, managed to get a full 6x4 double Z bed in there. What a result. But definitely some considerations for longer trips. Definitely going to have a proper single bed. By the time you've got stuff stored in there, it gets a little bit cramped. So there's probably a 3/4 bed size, and then the rest you want to sort of limit for all of your other bits and bobs, like the off-grid fridge I have from Ninja. I haven't brought my generator with me because I've got electrical hookup, but yeah, the Jackery will be coming out as well, which is a type of electric generator. So yeah, there's going to be a few more things on board for our longer trips away. Moss, wait, he's pulling. Hate it when he pulls. Definitely want to get him slip lead trained as he grows a little bit older. Another month or so, I think it'll be time, because he's getting strong as an ox, this little terrier. We're in a new area and he's going to be ploughing on a little bit. Moss, my pace. Good boy. A bit slower. My pace. I believe I can hear a car. It's hard to tell though. But yeah, we're in a place called Lytton, I believe, which is just outside the small town or village or large village of Lymington. And careful of those nettles, Moss. They sting your face. Get out of them. You can learn the hard way. Didn't realise stinging nettles affect dogs. Yeah, so we're near a small town or large village called Lymington in Hampshire, southwesterly of Southampton. So we're going to be in and around the Solent the next 4 days, and we're on a training course at the moment. You would have probably caught the sort of the video that precurses this. If you haven't, please feel free to go back. It's only, I think it's just shy of 20 minutes, so just a little lunchtime walk around the training grounds that we're on. But yeah, this is a lovely part of the world. Lymington is beautiful, by the way, and the Beaulieu estate, which also has a motor vehicle collection there. Sadly, I'm not going to get the opportunity to go and see it, which is such an awful shame, being a petrol head. But one thing I can tell you for free already, just from driving around and having our days taken up by learning again, and Moss is included in this as well. He's all a part of the practical side of things, which is great. But yeah, we'll definitely come down for more of an actual holiday. This is a learning holiday. It's a business trip, more to the point. But more about that another time. But this is about having an adventure with my baby boy, little Moss here. And I'm certain that we're near the end of the boring part of the walk, which is this lane, which, to be honest, isn't too bad. It's a little left and left again. I'm glad I checked. So is it left here, Moss, or is it just a touch further up? And then we get into a loop. I also brought a torch today. You'll be pleased to hear. Are we going up this little track? I believe we are. Should be a church up here as well. Let's see what we've got in store for us. There's a footpath. Apparently the church is just up there. Hang on a second. This could be like a 2-minute detour, but I wouldn't mind Have a little look. Oh no, that means turnstile on this map, not church. Right, go on Moss, let's go. So one thing I'm not going to do on this particular walk, because this will probably end up being a morning walk. I'm kind of like, well, maybe do a morning walk elsewhere, but my point being is we're going to be here for a number of days. So I want to find the best loop. The turnstile was there, mate. I want to find a good loop for us to do. One thing I'm not going to be doing tonight, and possibly the whole trip, is taking him off lead, believe it or not. And this feels like the primest of opportunities to be doing so. However, we are in the heart of the New Forest here, and there is basically not wild, no, there are wild horses, and there's cattle that roam as well. So there's lots and lots of considerations when taking your dog off the lead out in this neck of the woods, even though it's beautiful in the fields sprawl, which this one is not failing to disappoint. The only thing I would say, it's not an overly hilly area. Moss, come here, let's go, good boy. So yeah, I'm just going to keep him, to be fair, and give him a little bit more lead and being harsh. I do hold it a lot shorter. Like one thing I might end up doing, because I really like this type of lead, and you can shorten it up, but it just feels, do you know what? It feels a bit odd, but I don't actually do it all that often. So let's clip down to this secondary one. And this complements his collar as well, which, if I remind myself, is by Great and Small Country. Oh, that actually feels quite nice. That's a good length. Yeah, let's do that for a bit anyways. But yeah, like I said, there's lots of wild and roaming animals in this area, and that isn't restricted by things you wouldn't often see, which are wild horses. But again, you've got a bunch of deer here, the usual foxes, badgers, rats, squirrels, all those good things. Moss does like a rat, but at some point I am considering working him and turning him into a proper ratter. He's clearly got a lot of instincts there, which would be a shame not to utilise it in some respects. And you know, ratting's a really, really important part of the area that I'm from. It's obviously quite urban, being north of London, but it's still very much rural in places, and farmers would prefer ratting dogs to hunt vermin like rat and mice over putting down, you know, nasty poisons which their livestock can potentially eat. And you know, livestock's not cheap anymore. One thing I have realised, I'm recording on the Action 5 microphone, so the one that's inbuilt. So this is going to be a tester as well for the camera. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop yammering on. Let's totter along, shall we, Moss? Moss, come here. Come here. Living on some poo-poos. Yeah, I thoroughly like the idea of like ratting for the purposes of vermin and helping farmers out. They're at a loss these days, especially with that tax on the amount of acres you own or hectares you own. Like, these farmers, yes, they've got an absolute abundance of land. Good boy, Moss, little cock and leg, lovely. Have an abundance of land, and it's worth millions. But then, you know, they can only grow X amount of corn, or, you know, have some kind of bringing up of, say, equine, for instance. To be fair, it's less involved, but you know, say you're bringing up cattle, for instance, like, you know, you're not making that much with the big supermarkets anymore. You're really not. And yeah, you've got to put in the time, the feed, purchasing the cattle in the first place, hoping that, you know, they make for good meat or dairy, depending on their use case. So just change the subject briefly. Please keep your lead on at all times, and use the footpaths. Okay, gladly. Mossy, come here. You're gonna have to go round. Good lad. Don't pull me off this turnstile, mister. Will not be happy boy. Oh. So yeah, proving precisely my point and gut instincts. Don't have him off lead. Super tempting though. So green and beautiful out here. Go on me name, Moss. Let's go. Something hanging in the tree up there, like something shredded in it anyways. Yeah, Moss already had his dinner, but I'm just wondering what to have for myself now. Got a pasta bake, I've got some bacon on board. Might cook up the pasta bake just because it's easy to put it in the pan, get the stove out. Could have even brought an air fryer if I wanted with the electrical hookup on this place. But yeah, one thing that Jenny's going to be able to do is give us electrical hookup wherever we are, wherever we choose to go. And there's some exciting times to come. I haven't planned anything precisely yet. There's one tour that I want to do around Scandinavia and Western Europe. There's also thoughts about going up to the Highlands again. This first time for Moss to say again for me, because it's just so stunning. Some of the best beaches in the world, I would say. As mad as that sounds, best beaches in the world, almost Caribbean in the way that they look. Okay, granted, the waters are frigid and exceptionally cold, but wow, what an amazing part of the United Kingdom. It's hard to believe that you're in the British Isles, to be honest. It's more like New Zealand in places. Absolutely glorious. So yeah, we want to go do the Highlands, maybe climb Ben Nevis. I think it'd be a little bit too much for him at the moment, but I reckon in a few years that's not out of the question, getting up Nevis. That'll be such a good laugh. I do like myself a mountain climb. I think we'll probably start with Snowdon. I vowed to never climb Scafell again. You know, I might change my mind, but Ben Nevis is just, it's on the bucket list to do with the dog. Like, I did the 3 Peaks challenge 2 years ago now, probably getting on 3, and yeah, what an experience. What an absolute experience that was. Did it in 23 hours 36. I was the slowest of the 3 mates, well, sorry, 3 people including myself that went and did the challenge. It's 10 minutes behind one and 40 minutes behind the other. But I mean, Chris, who went out front, he could have, I want to see him do it again solo, because I reckon he could get an hour or maybe 3 knocked off. But it was a superb piece of camaraderie with friends I've known for, oh goodness, getting on 25 years, I want to say. And yeah, doing something that's exceptionally hard, which if you were solo you could easily give up. But having the boys around, they got me through some things with dealing with my vertigo in the darkness, pitch blackness of Snowdon. We climbed that at 2 AM, summited around about, oh well, it was probably about, it was getting on 4:30, and at that time the sun was just starting to rise. Maybe it was 5, but anyways, it took about 4 and a bit to do Snowdon, just under 4 for Scafell, and then just over 5 for Ben Nevis. So we made really decent time. But if it wasn't for Chris's dad ferrying us around as a non-climber, we would have been absolutely snookered. You definitely need a driver for that challenge. So much energy to be spent, and when we're going up the mountains, he's sleeping in the car. We obviously shared bits of the journey when we could. I actually drove from from Scotland down to Scafell. That was a good couple of hour jaunt. Maybe 3 hours. Go on, Moss. Go on. Oh. Alright, I'll let you do your own thing. I won't argue. You ready? What have you got your nose on? You smell a mouse or something in the grass? Probably. Yeah, it's funny. As soon as you put any tension in the lead, he pulls back on you. Might as well just not argue. Let him do his thing. You ready? There you go. rather than it's like, this is my time, you follow me. And yeah, he does follow, but Christ almighty, a lot of people call it stubborn terrier. I actually think it's impatient owner. Obviously I want him to do things quicker sometimes, but there's just little bits of info I can see him taking in now that I couldn't see before. I'm like, yeah, why not, mate? Have a sniff. I've got 5. Really not an issue. I don't know whether I've told this anecdote, but if I have, I apologise, and I will just tell it again briefly. So when I was on my first set of canine courses, basically the tutor or the trainer, he was discussing a client that he had, basically who had a German Shepherd, and she would kind of be like, oh, you know, crack on, pulling him along, and essentially the tutor, trainer, whatever, he worked out that every sniff spot that her dog wanted to go to, she'd pull him away. Because he's like, oh, he's got terrible recall. So he'd put every single sniff spot, pull him away, pull him away, pull him away. What ended up happening, the reason why the recall was so bad was basically, she's like, come on, we're going to the woods. The woods are your favourite place, or the fields, whatever the example is. Doesn't really matter the exact context, but you know what I'm saying, like, we're going to get there, come on, come on, come on, come on. Rushing them, and say that dozen sniff spots along that half-mile walk, she's not allowed them. What was happening, they'll get into the woods or the fields, and she'd let him off lead, and he would go bolting, basically back to the start of the walk, sniffing all the things that he wanted to sniff along the way. Because he'd been absolutely, like, you know, he'd been almost like, he was like hungry for it. And yeah, you got to bear in mind that the dog's nose is the most significant sense that they have. Like, I can't remember the amount of multipliers it is, but it's a lot better than the human, as are the ears for them. Eyesight, pretty darn good as well. And common misconception, oh, dogs are colourblind. No, they're not. They just see colour slightly differently to us. It's not like they're rolling around in black and white, which, to be honest, was what my comprehension was. But they're good with yellows and blues. But oranges, they can barely see at all. So there's a little nugget of random canine info for you. I am learning, honest. But yeah, I just find it absolutely fascinating, watching body language and again, it's really like, I want to get into the behavioural side of things with dogs, but it's just nice to be able to apply it with my own, you know, sort of as a pet. And even if I don't pursue the training and the education of which I'm sort of involving myself with now, it won't, like, it's a worthy investment just to get better with my own pup. But if I can eventually translate that into paid work and business and doing something that I'm passionate about, I'll certainly consider it, for sure. Start getting that bush. How is that? Is it good? You like that, I think. That's a nice little stroll about. One thing I love about coming down to the south coast in particular, especially when you get out towards Dorset, there's something about Dorset with the amount of ferns. And it seems that in Hampshire, this part of being close to Milford-On-Sea, that's the next town up actually from where I was describing at the beginning with Lymington. So I've been between Lymington and Milford. But yeah, just the amount of ferns, the flora down here, the plant life is just so different. Compared to sort of when you get more inland in Bucks where I'm from, you know, there's certain, you know, the flora and the fauna, the animals that live in certain areas, whilst there are similarities, there are certain species or like sort of say quirks within nature, just down to the climate of north and south, which I find mad. It's a bit like when you get up to the Highlands, there's a lot of heather, the spiky bushes, and when they're in season they're all like yellow on the sort of is it sort of the moorland, I guess. But yeah, just Oh, it's just so beautiful. And then you go down as far as Cornwall, and it's almost like subtropical. It's got no pigeons for you, mister. You know, it's got really, really beautiful plants. Oh, look, there's a herd of deer just about here. You spotted them as well. Wow, Moss, that's quite impressive. I didn't even see those guys. Looks like 2 does to me. Right, better not track on those, Mossy. Good boy. Oh, I've lost my bloody train of thought now. What's I banging on about? Those deer were wicked. Yeah, apologies about the ramblings. Got completely distracted by a set of pigeons and bloody deer. But yeah, looking forward to another 3 days of learning about the canine world a little bit further, should I say? Sorry. Right, come on, Moss. Other muddy puddles. Other muddy puddles. Come on. Whoops. And yeah, eventually, like, I'd quite like to get into more the behavioural, like, sort of psychological side of things. Like, you know, there are so many dogs unnecessarily euthanized every single year. So like the stats, so I was listening to an audio book. I can't remember the exact one now, so I will try and look that up. But yeah, basically it was talking about euthanasia stats, so dogs that have been put down. So when the book was written, which was basically as near as damn it when that thing happened in 2020, you know what I'm on about. So basically when that happened, it was 30,000 dogs a year. Then there was a big boom in puppies and people getting dogs and, you know, all sorts of stuff around then. So there's a lot of breeding. It was an opportunity that was, you know, it was a bit of overbreeding, frankly. And yeah, the amount of careful, Moss, amount of euthanized dogs is now 80,000 in the UK. Now, I understand that for one, that's an exponential jump. You know, it's not doubled, it's near enough tripled. Now, you know, there's been a lot of bad breeding, uninformed people getting into dog ownership, not researching the breed they're buying, they're just buying for aesthetics. So yeah, you know, some are just too hot to handle for inexperienced owners. Like the XL Bully, it's like a bit of a contentious subject, the XL. I'm personally a real big lover of them. I think they're fantastic dogs, especially in the sort of the original rendition of the XL Bully, where they were just soft and placid. Obviously very, very capable dogs, don't get me wrong. But what ended up happening was breeders and bad owners were getting the aggression back into these dogs, or putting aggression into these dogs. And yeah, it was the right idea initially, but then that ended up resulting in, you know, the ban that's occurred, where when they're out in public they've got to be on the leads, they've got to be muzzled. And I understand why, when you've got, you know, basically a small man's worth of weight coming at you with force and no control. Like, yeah, they're a really, really impeccable and incredibly strong piece of kit. And not for the faint-hearted, definitely not for the faint-hearted. And it's a shame that the breed's going to die out now within the next, what, 10, 15 years, and it will live on in other sort of dog species or dog breeds. But yeah, it's a real shame, but I also understand why. You know, nothing. The problem is when something like a Jack Russell goes mental, yeah, it could probably cause you a good amount of damage, but it's not going to kill you. Labradors, they're placid as anything. You know, they'd let a burglar in if they gave them a stroke. Come on, Moss. But yeah, just certain breeds, the bull breeds, just that little bit more aggressive, but not, or dominant perhaps is a better way of putting it. Just their whole demeanour is different. But again, they're still a dog. they've just got different parts of their predatory motor pattern or sequence, which is basically prey drive. Some of those are enhanced more, a bit like the terriers. They're so enhanced or just left the way they were because they're just bloody good at it. Then you've got something like a Pekingese that's got everything deleted but eating. So, you know, but I just totally believe that you need, with the bigger, well, certain breeds, you need to be a certain type of activity level. You know, the owner's got to match the dog in a lot of ways. Otherwise you're going to have severe problems. A lot of people comment on Moss about him not being yappy. And it's like, because I've brought him up to be confident around bigger dogs, I personally love bigger dogs. So I don't really get on edge. Also know some people that will have, like, you know, certain breeds, they just won't, oh, I won't go anywhere near that. I'm pretty relaxed in a lot of respects. And you know, he went and met a husky the other day. They can be quite unpredictable breeds at times. Perfectly fine. Moss was on lead, husky was on lead as well, but he also had a lot of other dogs around him in the pack. So I don't know whether anybody saw that video. I just dropped the lead because, like, I don't want lead tension there, which it wasn't really anyways. I don't want all of his options to be taken away when he bites or he gets bitten, more to the point. So if I drop the lead, gives him the chance to fly, run away. And sometimes that's all a part of the play system. You have like these times when dogs meet each other and it all feels aggressive. Sometimes the dogs are just excited. And it's just about assessing those situations as they come. But most dogs, I personally find, meet better off lead. Not always, but I think meeting other dogs on lead is an art, not just from the dog, from the owner themselves. How to get that dog to shape up nicely to the other one, and so on and so forth. I'm growing to learn that a bit better as time goes on. I'm, you know, by no means an expert, but have sort of endeavoured to try and get as much knowledge under my hat as I possibly can. Moss, what's this? Eyes, eyes. What's this? Sit. Good boy. I should shift on. Good boy. But yeah, I'm not really doing, like, you probably noticed that's the first bit of like actual training I've kind of done with him. This entire walk. Again, it's a new walk. I want him to experience it. I'm yammering away. Plus, he's done a lot of training today, and also as well a lot of crate training. So the thing about this course is it's about 80% practical with your dog, but there's 20% that's in class. But it's really well broken up. You've got people watching your dogs and so on and so forth. So ultimately, I'm super pleased with the experience so far. Again, super professional, the IMDT from front to back. I rate their methods. I really do. And don't get me wrong, I'll look into other methods of training as I go along. There are certain ones I will just not entertain at all. I don't even need to talk about them. I'm not even going to give them the voice at this point in time. But I'm sure you can take some guesses. Anyways, let's look. Yeah, just keep going down this lane. You're right. Nice. How long has that been? Just coming up half an hour. Oh, that's not bad. I was probably walking for a few minutes beforehand. Yeah, that's not bad. And looking back to check in. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, nice shaking up there, mate, to the hill. Yeah, he's just sitting in my vicinity now. This is one thing he tends to do towards the end of the walks. Once he's burnt off that energy and got that mental stimulation through like sniff work, he's so much more obedient, like doesn't pull. But yeah, I've got that on the system. You're such a good boy. Come here. Heel. Good boy. Eyes. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. But yeah, thoroughly enjoying being back at college. Come here. You ready? Just sniffing out. Maybe towards this lane, end of this lane anyways. Come on, Moss. Let's go. Good boy. You're not even any lead tension there, just verbal command. Very good. Like in a roundabout way, you're always training, should I say. But like, I normally dedicate time actually training every single day. I know a lot of people don't have that that ability from time to time. You know, a busy house, you know, your wife, your kids, your husband, your kids, whatever it is, you know. Got a dog, 2 dogs, maybe 3. So there's sometimes training, especially when you've got multiple dogs, family members, I can see how you could just run out of time. But like, when I say this, like, it's 10-15 minutes a day or a session. Even if you get in 1 session a day, it's 10-15 minutes of your time, and you're going to have a much better dog for it. So yeah, I just think with training, whether you're doing it at home as a pet owner, that's so important, and a big part of developing your relationship and the strength of it with your dog. Right, so anyways, enough of my yammering. I can't believe I managed to speak for that long, but Moss and I've had a really nice little trot around. I hope you've enjoyed watching and joining us this evening. Much more to come, and I will catch you tomorrow. Anyways, wait for this to go by. Anyways, guys, keep meandering, stay positive, and much